But here's the thing, fitness and nutrition is so much more than numbers, in my opinion. It's more than the food on your plate, and it's more than the exercises that you're doing. It's a feeling. It's about being stronger and physically able. It's about having more energy. It's about being able to keep up with your kids and setting a positive example for them. And it's about enjoying life to its fullest. Welcome to Strong as a Mother podcast, the podcast that empowers moms to choose themselves and leave the mom guilt behind so they can step into the most confident versions of themselves. We are saying goodbye to the back burner and hello to strength, nourishment, and self-acceptance. We are no longer chasing the smallest versions of ourselves. I'm Miranda, fitness coach and mom of two. Join me for light-hearted chats, practical tips, and resources that you can integrate in your life as a busy mom. I just want to remind you that this is a safe place for all parents, whether you are a single mom, a married mom, a working mom, a dad playing both roles. This is our community. We're here to support one another, share experiences, and grow together. So let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Strong as a Mother podcast. I'm so amped to have you guys back for another episode. Today, I wanted to talk about redefining your approach to your fitness and overall well-being by setting empowering goals that go beyond the scale. We've talked about body neutrality, we talked about self-love, and this ties into both of those topics. For so long, so many of us have relied on the number on the scale to measure our worth or our success on a fitness journey. And it's easy to understand why. That number just feels so concrete and measurable, but it's also a metric that doesn't tell the full story. It doesn't account for strength you're building, improved relationship with food, your increased energy or stamina, or the confidence that you're beginning to cultivate. Focusing on the scale alone can leave you feeling stuck, discouraged, and like you're never getting anywhere, and maybe even feeling a little defeated. But what if we flipped that narrative? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I think that it's so important to celebrate progress that isn't tied to weight and appearance, kind of like we talked about in the body neutrality episode. What if our goals focused on growth and strength and capabilities? What if our goals focused on what our bodies could do rather than how they looked? So today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into why it's crucial to move beyond appearance-based goals. I'm going to, again, talk a little bit about my own journey of embracing more empowering goals. And the mental and emotional benefits that have come from focusing on strength and capability versus always chasing a smaller version of myself. I'm going to give you some practical tips and resources to help you achieve your goals a little bit more and feel a little bit more empowered, and how shifting your mindset can be a really positive example for your kids. By the end of this episode, I hope that you feel inspired to take a new approach to your fitness, one that's a little bit more fulfilling, sustainable long-term. That's so important to me as a fitness coach, and that celebrates you and all the incredible things that you're capable of. So maybe grab a cup of coffee, a protein shake, whatever you need, and let's explore how we can break free of the scale and embrace goals that truly empower us and encourage us to make this a lifestyle. So I want to start with the concept of strength-based goals. So many of us begin our fitness journeys with appearance-focused goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like we want to lose 20 pounds, we want to fit into a certain clothing size. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with that, with wanting to look your best, these goals can often leave us feeling frustrated if we don't meet them in the timeline that we want to meet them at, especially if our progress isn't immediate. We are creatures of instant gratification, but let's be honest, progress on the scale is never linear, right? So that number can fluctuate for so many reasons entirely, and is entirely out of your control, like water retention, hormonal changes, or even the time of day that you're weighing yourself. But Here's the thing, fitness and nutrition is so much more than numbers, in my opinion. It's more than the food on your plate, and it's more than the exercises that you're doing. It's a feeling. It's about being stronger and physically able. It's about having more energy. It's about being able to keep up with your kids and setting a positive example for them. And it's about enjoying life to its fullest. That's where strength based goals come into play. And unlike appearance based goals, strength goals really focus on what your body can do. For example, instead of saying, I want thinner thighs, you might say, I want to squat my body weight or 2 times my body weight. Instead of aiming for a flat stomach, you could set a goal of holding a plank for 90 seconds. Strength based goals are so dang empowering because they are measurable and they're achievable. Every time you lift a heavier weight, you run a little further, you hold a pose for a little bit longer, you are making tangible progress. And these wins build confidence and they have you feeling so capable and empowered. And that confidence it creates a positive feedback loop that keeps you motivated and keeps you wanting to push further. One of the most important aspects of strength-based goals is really how they impact your daily life. Like imagine carrying your toddler without strain and feeling strong enough to like tackle a challenging hike or something that you might not think that you are capable of, and then showing yourself that you can do it. These real life improvements, these are reminders that fitness is about enhancing your life. It's not just about changing your appearance. I remember working with a client, and I work with a lot of women who really tie their worth up in the scale. She relied on the scale as a measure of progress. And then one day after, months of strength training and working with me, she literally moved like a heavy dresser by herself. And she like helps her husband in the yard and like does all these like renos on her house, and like she feels so capable. And it's so cool to see like how she's come from like obsessing over the scale to like how capable she feels. It's so transformative, and it's so cool to watch that mindset shift happen before my eyes. That moment was a game changer for her because it shifted her focus from how she looked to how she felt and how capable she was. Strength based goals, they really help you foster like a much healthier relationship with your body. Instead of punishing yourself for, what you see in the mirror potentially, you really start to appreciate your body for all that it can do. And it is that shift from self-criticism to gratitude, and it's a very powerful change. When you focus on strength and capability, like the benefits go far beyond the physical part of it. So there's really 3 main areas that you really notice when you focus on strength gains. So obviously there's the physical benefits of getting stronger. Like let's talk about what happens to your body when you set and achieve these strength-based goals. Strength training improves your functionality. It enhances your posture, your balance, your coordination. These improvements make everyday tasks easier and much safer, especially as we age. For example, bending down to pick up your child or a heavy box, or to do renos in your yard with your husband or your partner, or when reaching for something up on a higher shelf. I feel like when I shifted my focus from like chasing a smaller version of myself, losing weight, becoming smaller, to getting stronger, I became so much more like confident. I became so much more motivated intrinsically, and I became so much more consistent. The mental benefits that I got from training for strength have been incredible. Achieving strength milestones have been such a confidence booster to me, like nothing I have ever experienced. There is something incredibly empowering about lifting a weight that you never thought that you could do and showing yourself what you're capable of. Or like mastering a new skill in the gym, like maybe a push-up or doing your first pull-up. These achievements prove to you that you're so much more capable than you ever imagined. And that confidence doesn't just stay in the gym. It comes with you throughout your life. And you start to approach all challenges with a little bit more confidence, Even in your relationships, at work, as a parent, that new sense of resilience gives you so much determination. And then lastly, the emotional side of things, like strength goals can be a powerful stress reliever. Physical activity releases endorphins and it helps reduce anxiety and improve your mood. And there's this deep sense of satisfaction that comes from working towards and achieving a goal. It's a reminder that you're in control and it's your journey and that you're capable of making and achieving positive change in your life. One of my favorite parts about focusing on strength, though, is how it really impacts the people around you. Like when you prioritize your health and you're setting empowering goals, it inspires others to do the same. We live in a world that is all about appearance, losing weight, changing your body, meeting these unrealistic beauty standards that we see every single day. And when you go away from the norm, you set an example for other women and for the children in your life as well. I've literally had clients tell me that their kids started joining them at the gym. Like they send me videos of their kids working out and it's the best feeling of my entire life. Like that ripple effect that I know that have inspired one mom to choose strength and now she's inspiring her kid to do the same. That's what happens when you do that in your own journey. Fitness becomes contagious in the best way possible. Another client of mine, shared a story that really stuck with me, and she was grocery shopping and realized that she could carry all her bags in one trip. Like, and which, as a mom, like that is straight up goals, right? We don't want to do multiple trips if we don't have to. But it was something that she couldn't do before. So it might seem so minuscule, like it's a small win, but it was a huge moment of pride for her and accomplishment. So these are the kinds of wins that you experience when you focus on strength goals. Now, making the mindset shift from appearance-based goals to embracing strength is not something that happens overnight. It requires intentional reflection and a consistent effort because we have had it hardwired in our brains that we must look a certain way to gain approval from others or to be successful in our lives. So let me help you break it down how you can make that shift so you can integrate it into your life. Really, the first step is redefining like what success looks like for you on a fitness journey. For so long, success in a fitness journey has been narrowly defined by weight loss or changes in your physical appearance. But success can be so much more than that. It can be about the energy that you feel when you wake up in the morning. It could be the ability to keep up with your kids, the sense of accomplishment that you feel when you hit a new strength milestone or lift a weight that you didn't think that you were capable of lifting. You got to take a moment to really think about what success means to you beyond the scale. Write it down, visualize it, and remind yourself of it as often as possible. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is setting specific, actionable goals that are not tied to your appearance as well. So, for example, like I said earlier, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, try saying, I want to be able to do 10 normal push-ups, or I want to run a mile without stopping. These goals are measurable and they give you something tangible to work towards. One of the most important things about setting goals and being on a fitness journey is celebrating the wins along the way. The more wins you put out, the more wins you get back is what I like to say. This is a crucial part of any fitness journey, and every small step forward is worth celebrating, and every step forward is progress. So maybe you celebrate, 5 extra pounds added to your bar, or, you held a plank for 10 seconds longer than you did last week. These moments are worth celebrating. They might seem small, but small wins add up to big results. And they're worth celebrating because they contribute to your growth and to the effort that you're putting in. Another key aspect to this mindset shift is practicing self-compassion. So, there's going to be days where you don't feel strong or that life gets in the way, especially as a mom. Our lives are always all over the place. They're hard to juggle. We're always, we kind of have to be fluid with having kids depending on their age, obviously. And that's okay if you have those days, or it's okay if things don't always go as planned. Instead of beating yourself up about it, though, you need to remind yourself that progress is not linear and that every step forward counts. And lastly, or surrounding yourself with a positive community, whether that's a coach, a friend, an online group of some sort, having people who encourage you to be better, who celebrate your wins with you, it can make the world of a difference. Share your goals with them, share your struggles with them, celebrate with them, and lean on them when you need that little extra dose of motivation. When it comes to setting a positive example for your kids, one of the most powerful ways to be a role model for our family or set the tone for our family is embracing strength-based goals and prioritizing our own well-being and setting the bar. When we do this, we're not just transforming our own lives, we're actually, setting a really positive example for our kids and for our loved ones or the other ones close to us. One of the most powerful ways to model empowering behaviors is by involving your kids in your fitness journey. And that doesn't mean forcing your kids to do things like workouts with you if they don't want to do them, but instead showing them, that fitness can be fun and that it can be rewarding. Maybe it's going on a family hike or, having a dance party in the living room, or teaching them how to cook a healthy meal. Teaching them the colors of the rainbow and how different foods of different colors offer different nutrients to your body. These activities create positive associations with health and wellness. But your attitude towards fitness and nutrition, it sends a powerful message. So you have to be careful when your kids see you celebrating wins, practicing self-compassion, and prioritizing your health, they learn to do the same, but vice versa, right? If you're always talking negatively about yourself, you're speaking about food or placing food in good and bad food camps, talking negatively about food, exercise, they're going to pick up on that too, and they're going to have the same beliefs. It's so important to be careful about how you speak about exercise, about nutrition, about your body in front of your kids. You want to make sure that you're not talking about fitness as a way of punishing your body, or comparing yourself to others. Fitness is about growth. It's about joy. It's about longevity. It's about taking care of yourself. So when you do that and you model those behaviors, your kids are going to be likely to do the same. Actions are louder than words. When you prioritize yourself, you prioritize your health, your well-being, you're teaching your kids that it's important to take care of themselves too. You're showing them that it's okay to prioritize themselves and to invest time and energy into their own goals, into their own dreams. I always say that, before I started chasing strength goals, is I fought with my body for so many years. I had a horrendous relationship with my body, and I just knew that I never wanted my kids to struggle the way that I struggled. So I needed to change the narrative. So by having more empowering goals, focusing on strength, building muscle, trying to shift the focus away from appearance, I feel like I created a much more positive space for my kids. And that's what I want for all women. I don't want kids to struggle with their body image. Of course, some people are going to struggle with it at times, but if we can just change the narrative and get more voices out there that are talking about, building yourself up, building muscle, building strength, being strong, changing that narrative, together we could really cause a major ripple effect. You have to think that when you are so focused around the scale and chasing a lower body weight, it can easily backfire. First of all, we've got the inaccuracy of the scale. Like the number on the scale doesn't take into consideration or distinguish between muscle and fat, water, bone density. As you build strength, you might gain muscle, which can make the scale even go up sometimes, even as your health improves. Also, when you're constantly chasing a lower number of the scale, it can, really lead to like feelings of failure, maybe feeling insignificant when you haven't reached a certain goal by a certain time. And it also leads to short-term thinking, like so many crash diets, extreme workouts, these things might yield temporary results, but they aren't sustainable and they're not healthy. That breaking free from that scale mentality and focusing more on strength and one that values your body is so much more empowering. And when you shift your goals from shrinking your body to expanding its potential, you feel so much more empowered and sustainable and fulfilled on your fitness journey. Defining strength-based goals can be like just focusing on performance over aesthetics. These goals, like I mentioned earlier, are measurable and they can include things like increasing how much you can deadlift, completing a certain number of push-ups or pull-ups, or getting your first pull-up, improving your balance, your endurance, your flexibility, achieving a personal record in running. Having strength-based goals, unlike weight-centric goals, strength-based goals foster a sense of accomplishment, and that isn't tied to appearance. It can encourage consistent effort over a longer period of time and more long-term commitment. It can build resilience by focusing on progress rather than perfection. It can offer clear, measurable milestones that motivate you to keep going instead of always being on and off your fitness journey. Strength goals are diverse. It's not just about lifting a certain weight, and it's going to be dependent on the individual who pursues them. And that individuality is what makes strength-based goals suitable for all fitness levels. Achieving strength-based goals and, hitting strength-based milestones, it fosters a sense of self-efficacy. Each strength goal that you achieve, you have this belief that you are capable of anything that you put your mind to. You are capable of overcoming challenges both in and out of the gym. And this confidence often, like I said earlier, can spill into other areas of your life. It also helps reduce stress and anxiety, and strength training, going to the gym is a proven stress reliever. It can reduce your cortisol levels. It can improve your mood through, the release of endorphins, and it provides a constructive outlet for tension. And strength-based goals also require, commitment. They require patience. And these attributes can be very helpful in cultivating resilience, a mental toughness that can equip you to handle all of life's obstacles with grace and determination. One of the greatest things about focusing on strength goals is its inclusivity. Whether you are a beginner, you are an advanced athlete, strength-based goals can be tailored to your needs and are relative on the individual. So for a beginner, it might be, doing 5 push-ups or holding a plank for 30 seconds. For an intermediate, it could be completing, 10 pull-ups or squatting 1.5 times your body weight. For an advanced person, it might be, achieving a handstand or setting a new personal record for running or cycling. And strength goals can move with you throughout your entire life too. So young adults who are just getting started, maybe they're focusing on building a foundation of strength and mobility. Parents, develop functional strength to lift and carry their children with ease. And seniors or older adults prioritize bone density, balance, muscle preservation for longevity. Strength training is a lifelong investment. The benefits of strength training they extend far beyond aesthetics. It's an investment into your long-term health and your vitality. your bone health improves. You can prevent osteoporosis. It supports skeletal strength, your joint stability, reduces the risk of injury as we get older. It helps stabilize our muscles and joints, our heart health. It can improve cardiovascular markers like our blood pressure and our cholesterol. Strength enhances so many different areas of our life, and it helps us perform daily tasks with ease, whether that's lifting heavy grocery bags, helping our husbands or partners with renos, helping around the house, gardening. A strong body is an able body, and it makes life more enjoyable. I know sometimes shifting your focus from, chasing a lower number on the scale and letting go of the scale is hard. And adopting a strength-based mindset can feel pretty intimidating, especially if you're like new to fitness, or maybe you've been dieting your entire life and all is the scale. The key is to just really start small and focus on consistency. Every rep, every set, every workout is one step closer to the goal that you're trying to achieve. Strength training isn't just about the destination. It's about enjoying the process. It's about celebrating those small wins, learning from the challenges that you face, and taking pride for continuing to show up for yourself. So how do you track progress beyond the scale? Or how do you set these goals? So effective goals are SMART goals. So they're specific, they're measurable, they are achievable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. So specific, you need to define exactly what you want to achieve. Is that deadlifting 1.5 times your body weight? Are they measurable? So are you able to track your progress lifting an additional 5 pounds per week, for instance? Achievable, but challenging and realistic. Is this actually possible? Are they relevant? Do they align with your overall fitness objective? And is it time bound? So set a deadline for your goal. You want to achieve it within by the end of the year. But it's also very important to, track your data. Without data, you don't really have anything. So, keeping a fitness journal or using an app of some sort to record, your progression is so important. The exercises you completed, the weights you lifted, the repetitions that you did, focusing on non-scale victories, like increased energy or improved posture or better form. And also subjective feelings more confidence or reduced stress, or how a lift went. Did it feel heavy this day? What did you eat? What did you drink beforehand? How was your sleep? These are really important things to measure and to keep track of. And then for tools for progress, for strength metrics, like recording any personal bests in your lifts or in your reps. And then of course, performance benchmarks. So maybe you test your endurance, or you run a timed mile, or, your flexibility, being able to touch your toes, for instance. I worked with some pretty incredible people, like my client Mia, who is 38, and she had 2 girls of her own, and she began strength training 6 months after her second child was born. Initially, her goal was to regain more core strength and alleviate back pain. But over time, she progressed from body weight exercises to actually lifting weights. And today she can deadlift her body weight, which is pretty dang cool. And she also feels more energetic, confident, and more capable than ever. So it's amazing what strength-based goals can do for you. Lastly, you need to redefine what success looks like for you. So strength-based goals, they're not about a finish line, and they're about constant growth. You're always able to get stronger, to improve in some way. There is no end line, and that's what I love about it. Each milestone that you achieve is a step towards becoming the best version of yourself that you could be. So, find a workout buddy, join a fitness community, try to stay motivated in that way. Celebrate every victory. There's no such thing as a small win, in my opinion, and always remind yourself why you started and how far that you've come. Strength training is really a lifelong endeavor. And whether you're, lifting heavier weights, mastering a new skill, or simply just maintaining progress that you made, strength-based goals offer an endless opportunity for growth and fulfillment. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Strong as a Mother. I hope that this discussion around strength-based goals inspires you to redefine what success looks like for you on your fitness journey. Remember that fitness is so much more than how we look. It's how we feel. It's, about becoming stronger and more confident and living a fuller life. If you found this episode helpful, make sure that you share it with a friend or a fellow mom or parent. And don't forget to subscribe for more empowering mom conversations, tips, and resources. Until next time, stay strong, mama.